Welcome, Charlotta. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, certainly. Charlotta Hughes. I have worked as a professional coach since 2007. After a number of years in human resources, that's where I started out with the ambition of working with development, human potential. Much of my work ended up being about other things, so sort of set up my own practice, reschooled myself, specializing in the development of potential in leaders and individuals alike. So since then, I work both with corporate coaching and life coaching on an individual basis, and I work with a lot of teams in team coaching, in development initiatives, organizational development initiatives. So that's me in a
Mm.
nutshell.
Yeah, very.
Also, since this year, I joined you, Susan, and other lovely people in the AI Coaching Coalition. So that's what I've been getting my teeth into during 2025.
Very good. Yeah, no, and thank you very much for volunteering for that community. And yeah, I'm excited about the potential that we've got there.
Yeah.
So this fireside chat is an informal chat, and what I'm curious about is if you've noticed any meaningful moments or made observations of where we've got either it's an opportunity for AI, human connection, and coaching to come together in a meaningful way.
Well, it's an interesting question, and I've pondered on that because really, when you and I connected at the beginning of 2025, you were fairly new in your role at the ICF. That was really the first time I even came across considering AI and coaching marrying up. Obviously, technology we use, and thankfully that was around from 2020 when we had to rely on that way in order to connect. But I'd never considered AI in that sphere. Since then, I said I've been focusing on this in 2025 because after that exciting invitation to join the coalition. I thought, okay, this is really quite scary when you don't know anything about something, but you know you need to know it. So he forced my arm and I deep sort of dived into it. And I think I am cautiously optimistic that there will be a way in which AI can help coaches get even better at what we do.
Mm.
That's my hope.
Mm.
The jury's still out there for me as to how that should look. But um, I'm hesitant about a lot of the ways in which the world is embracing AI and technology, particularly AI, not just in the coaching sphere.
Mm.
But I'm also mindful to be open-minded because I'm sure there are opportunities,
Mm.
as I have seen in other areas of
Mm.
healthcare, of education, where it's worked really well and working increasingly well. So I don't have a specific moment where I have sort of, oh, this is how I want to use it.
Mm.
But I have had moments of, I really don't want to use it that way, which is helpful. And these are the ways in which I would like to find out more.
Mm. And I think for us, the more that we can collaborate, and that's part of why the coalition was formed, if you like, the more that we can collaborate, we can find the best use cases for within the coaching profession and start developing those or experimenting with those. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then as we experiment and learn, what are the principles that we should keep really so that AI is human-centered, ethical, and inclusive?
Well, I think it's keeping that critical eye on it all, actually, because it's a lack of governance generally here.
Mm.
And we talk a lot about human-centered,
Mm.
and in many areas of the world, it isn't really, because it's got to be scalable. It's got to, it's the business model needs to allow for it to be human-centered. And sadly, I don't see that being the case in many places.
Mm.
But within our world, in the coaching, I really hope that's where we can role model that,
Mm.
so that we don't push on with a system or an agent that isn't benefiting the client and the coaching process,
Mm.
even if it makes more money or
Mm.
whatever the
Mm.
case may be.
Hmm.
So that's a really core principle. The other one that I think is really important is to also weigh up the benefit to humans in terms of a direct sense with sustainability, so longer term.
Mm.
We mustn't forget how incredibly draining AI is on resources in the world, and also on the working conditions of those developing systems in the third world.
Mm.
These sort of sacrifices, if you like, needs to be kept very center, which again, it's not spoken about in this field the way it is around flying or driving, etc. There, people talk about the green issue all the time. It's not really been brought up enough here yet. So that's something I hope will be become so that we can we see a benefit of something to say the skills of the coach or the achievements of the coachee. Still need to weigh it up. Is the benefit greater than the harm he might be doing?
Mm. I hope that, well, I intend actually that next year those are conversations that we can bring to the coalition to a wider audience. ICF is involved in a climate group. That's not the name of it. I don't remember. They renamed themselves, but they're an advisory group looking at the impact of AI and on the climate. So I
Oh,
think there's
brilliant.
some work we can learn from there and bring it into the coalition. So, if you could imagine one shift to positively shape the next chapter of coaching, what would it be?
Okay, the one thing I would love to see, and I think would be of huge benefit to the whole of our community, is to continue the work that the Coaching Coalition has started, which is to collaborate between the different bodies, membership bodies. I think that to this is something I've struggled with since I started out in coaching, which is nearly 20 years ago, that we're not a regulated profession. We don't have an identity in the way that a therapist or a teacher or, well, call any profession out,
Yeah.
they have a clearer identity. And that would be of humongous benefit to our profession
Mm,
if we had a clearer identity.
mm,
And in that, I also hope there will be um, a clearer route in beyond doing X, Y, and Z course. I'm thinking about when the CIPD in Britain became chartered, the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development became chartered. There were loads of HR professionals that weren't a member of the IPD as they
mm,
used to be, but they had buckets of years of experience. And they then had a route for those individuals to be able to qualify and become chartered because that really raised the whole profession to have the Chartered Institute. And I'm seeing something like that for coaching, where we have a hopefully a chartered institute where we can have different membership bodies still, but a joint register, and that there are different ways in
mm,
to get in and then maintain that
mm.
chartered membership. That I think would make a huge difference both to the reputation of our profession, the quality assurance, and the confidence for coaches to go out and talk about what we do.
Mm. As you described entry there, I was also thinking of so not only the coaches that currently exist within our ecosystem, but aren't necessarily part of those bodies, as you
Mm,
just described, but also the younger generation. So I know there are some educational establishments that have their coaching and technology faculty now, but how do we encourage new new people into the profession? So you described having the identity of the profession, which I think would be really good.
mm,
Then having that, it means that young people considering what their career options might be, think about coaching or
yeah,
at least know what it is. Yeah.
exactly. And in that, we also need to think about how we become available to them,
Hmm.
because the young people is a part of the population that typically would struggle to reach the coach would struggle to reach to. But that's a harder nut to crack, I think. But maybe as well, actually, as we gain that credibility that model would give the profession, um, why couldn't coaching be available to them just like other educational bodies
Absolutely.
or
Yeah.
etc. So yeah, that would be amazing.
And maybe the way in which people are using AI now is waking them up to the idea that there is a thing called coaching. I'm not saying
Yes.
I don't like calling the tools an AI coach, but people are using it in that way. And so maybe if they're starting to explore how it's helping them with their goals, it might help them explore, well, what is coaching? So if those two things emerged, we could see maybe new entrants coming into our profession from, you know, Gen Alpha, etc.
Yes. With that careful consideration around that piece where the hallucinations and other issues may result in not a great experience.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
hmm. there's
that,
actually work going on in America. The attorney generals have uh, gone to the big platforms and talked about using the Consumer Protection Act to force them into correcting the technology that hallucinates or gives
yeah,
the do no harm type of thing. So I think there is already signals and an action being taken.
which is fantastic because this self-regulatory process is dangerous,
Mm. Yes.
I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So we'll see. It's exciting to see where all that will end up.
Mm. And if we look onto the horizon, what stays the same about coaching and what might change?
What I think stays the same about coaching is what happens up here when we speak to other humans. Something amazing. You know, you can see it in coaching, you can see it in therapy, you can see it in education. We make leaps, we develop. Um, Individuals progress forward quicker
Mm.
when they're with another human being. And I think that will stay the same. That perhaps it's about the resonance that
Mm.
that Rosa speaks of. Whatever it is, it's powerful. And I think that's important that we protect, that people don't lose that
Mm.
for our well-being and for our ability to develop. So that I think will be continue to
Mm.
be one of the magical things about it.
Mm.
What was the other? Was there a B to that question?
Yes, and what will change?
What will change? Well, depends on if I have an optimistic or a pessimistic hat on. I think the piece you spoke of just now, where young people might discover coaching more because of the AI agents that are out there. Um, I do fear that that will dilute coaching and make it so accessible that um, the big benefits from the human coaching is lost in that. People get used to the gratification of something being available 24/7. You can hang up when they say something you don't like. You don't need to consider their feelings. You get confirmed all the time in many ways. I don't think that's good for humanity. I can only imagine what that would do to people.
Mm.
And we're quite fragmented as it is now.
Mm.
I don't think that would benefit. So that's the negative hat of
Mm.
what I think might change.
Mhm.
Um, because there's no way a human coach could live up to those expectations,
Mm.
or should, I'd
No,
argue.
absolutely, yeah.
Um, but what might change in another way, I think within organizations, perhaps it's about the the quality of coaching increasing with the help of AI systems that are there to support the coach,
Mm.
find patterns, see, across this organization, we see similar issues cropping up. It's something about the culture here that 20 different human coaches couldn't have
Mhm.
picked up on. That sort of stuff, the organizational dynamics can be raised, as well as educating the coach, evaluating what was happening in that session. Did I encourage growth mindset? Did I not?
Mm.
Etc., etc. That sort of stuff, I think, will elevate coaching. used correctly.
I mean, some of the platforms that are going into organizations enables the organization to provide coaching to all levels of the organization, but then depends on how they've designed the system or chosen to deploy the system. They can aggregate data in an anonymized way to understand how people are feeling or how they're achieving their goals. So I think it's already starting to give more
Yeah.
opportunity for people like in your old role in HR. Um, you know, you now have the ability to have an always on sense check. In the corporate world, we used to do, well, and probably still a lot of people do, pulse checks on
Yeah.
how people are feeling, maybe every quarter, maybe twice a year. Well, now you've
Mm.
got that data always on if you choose to switch it on, so.
Yes, indeed.
Mm, good. And as we come towards the end of our fireside chat, is there anything else that you would like to share?
No, just that I'm very pleased to be in this space and have the privilege to really get into the nitty-gritty of those issues, which I never would have done without you, Susan. So I say a big thank you to you.
Thank you for volunteering. And also, we have a panel in Paris. So I'm looking forward to meeting more people there and seeing how they react to the themes that we'll be talking about on the panel.
Yes, me too. Very exciting.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
See you.